All right, so we have successfully cut a few ridge caps here, and we're gonna actually start on one of our hip ridges right here, and we can see it's where this row of shingles and this row of shingles match up, and they're going to cover this like this. So that's gonna look mighty fine. So what we need to do is we need to measure these, and I believe they're gonna be about 11 3/4 or maybe 11 1/2. They're 11 3/4. Who can tell me what's half of 11?
6.5.
5 1/2.
No, 5 1/2.
All right, and what's half of 3/4?
3/8.
3/8. So it's 11 1/2 plus 3/8, so we're at 11 7/8. So what I'm going to do is from the center of my ridge right here, I'm going to measure 5 7/8. And I'm actually going to put it right here on this nice piece. And we will do the same thing up here. 5 7/8, like so. And we've got a nice line there. And I'm gonna grab my chalk line here. And if I could have, McCabe, can I have you hold that right there for me? Just press down right on that. You got it good?
Yeah, I got good.
All right, we're gonna take this here. Try not to snap it. And we got another line down here. I'm gonna pull it past my line. All right, looks pretty. All right, tell you what, McCade, can you pick that line up and snap it actually? I got this line up here. Straight up, up, good. All right, let's see if we got a line. It's good enough for me, I can see that. I don't know if Ray Charles could see it, but we can, so we're good. So when we start to put these, we're gonna maintain this line here all the way up when we do this. Let's see this one. All right, so when we start this shingle, we're gonna have to start this one all the way down here. And if we did it correctly, there's two ways we could do this. We know that's gonna match up right here on our other cut spot, but I'm gonna sight up this and make sure it looks good on my line. Looks like we're off the smidgen. If we take a look at this right here, do you guys see the center cut right here? We're gonna make sure we have that center cut right on the center of our ridge. We're mighty close. There. And actually gotta move it down a little bit more to catch this. And we're there, looking good. All right, I'm gonna grab a couple of nails. We're gonna put a few nails in this, hold that for me. And we're gonna put our first nail right here, right in our tar strip. Thank you. Looking nice there. Now, it's going to be a little bit tricky when we go and cut this because we need to go from here down to here. And there's two ways we could do this. Number one, we could snap a line and follow it. Number two, we could take our hook blade right here and we can follow right down the shingles that are underneath it. Like so. All right, see that? And if we take note, right down the shingles that were underneath it. Do the same thing over here on this side. Let's see where this one ends. Right here. We'll take our hook blade. And I always like to get it started first before I get my hand over there. All right, we came right down. That looks pretty darn nice. Came in a smidgen right here. That happens to be the other shingle underneath it, smidgen. We'll clean that up just a whisker. We may or may not want to put a little bit of tar underneath this thing. This thing's held down pretty mighty fine right here. Our next one in line is going to go just like this. Make sure our center piece happens to be right there. And this one here we can choke down a little bit if we need to. So this one we choke down a little bit on our ridge to get it to look good. And this is a tricky situation here because we're going right into this. So I'm going to come in a smidgen. This nail. Make sure we're center lined up again. Hold this right across. and that covers it up mighty fine right here. We do have a little piece of this one over here. It needs to be trimmed off. This one does not. That one's beautiful. You guys got another one down there? Take some nails. Thank you. Take this one here, same thing. Down to our line, double check it over here. Look at that, nice and beautiful, right on our centerpiece. Our center line, I should say. Not a wedding, not a centerpiece for a table. Put this right here. Whoa! I swung for the fences there.
Can I try one?
Sure. And we're gonna continue this here all the way up to the top, and we'll be in great shape, and we're gonna show you more of that later on in the video. All right, so we've ran our ridge caps up this hip ridge over here and up this hip ridge over here, and we had to figure out how to blend this top here up. I'm gonna kind of explain it here after I pass this phone over. And what we did was we ran this one up to about here, and we cut out our hole for our vented ridge. And then we ran this cap up, we had to put another cap on it, and we wanted our ridge cap to kind of be like this, and we didn't really want to bend it over and then flop it down. It really forms a really weird angle when you do it like that. So what we did is we put another one up, and we found out that this nail here will be covered, and we have another nail down in here, and then we took another ridge cap and put it like this, and we put a nail here and a nail back on our tar strip, and we then took our knife and we cut this up with our ridge line for our hip, and then we took this thing above where our ridge cap's going to be and cut open our ridge vent opening. So we really just needed this little triangle piece right here, but in order to get that, we wanted to make sure we had a good spot. So we're getting ready to put this top ridge cap on here, and since it's a vented ridge, we first need to put down our actual ridge vent, and the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take it like so. Let it chill right there, and we're going to bring this right here. Looks like we're going to want to go from there to about, now we can always cut more of this off later. I'm going to carefully cut down through this. And obviously we don't want to cut into our shingles. This is a nice breathable membrane here. Allows the hot air to come out, keeps the critters out of the attic. And we're going to center it with our ridge. We have a line right here we can kind of keep it track on. And there happens to be some real long nails down there. Does anybody see that box of 2-inch nails? So we're going to need a couple out of that. We're going to put a couple nails in this to hold it. So we're going to use these 2-inch nails because we need to go through this membrane. And we're not going to hit the membrane down really tight. We're just going to kind of snug it up a little bit. We'll start right here. And see how we just kind of lightly put it in? It's looking pretty nice. I'll take another nail. We'll put one in the center here. And another one. We're not going to kind of cut anything over here yet. We're just going to kind of let that chill. Figure out where it wants to go a little bit later on. You can always cut more off. right. And we're gonna take our first piece of ridge cap and I'm gonna go right out to where the two pieces meet. Overhang it just a smidgen. And our line there. So we snapped our line, we snapped it with the ridge cap being 100% down. So we're gonna choke it up a smidge. It actually looks like it's gonna follow this line on both sides of our actual tab of our shingle. All right, kind of liking the way this looks. How about one of those nails? And we're gonna hope that we're not directly over the nail we put in. That'll be our luck. Now watch this here. When we put these in, we're not gonna go super tight because we need to maintain this breathable layer right here. You guys see that? This is the center of our ridge. That's down. Take our next one. Same thing, put it right here. Now, since this is in a vented ridge situation, we may or may not have to take and put a nail here and a nail here. That may be good practice to do that. Biggest reason, if we get a real hard wind, it could rip right up underneath this and get this off. And we can always go back later on. We're going to put a little bit of tar on this one here. We'll put a little bit of tar on this one here and here, and then we'll take some shingles and we'll kind of go like this and get the grit so that it matches the roof and it'll look real nice. So let's see here. How about, you got any of those smaller nails? I think we don't need quite a 2-inch nail here. And obviously there's no vent underneath this section over here. Yes, please. And I don't think that we need one up here, and I also don't believe it's a good spot to put it. What we probably will wind up doing is we'll probably take a little bit of tar, put a little bit of tar in these areas here just in case we get a driving rain. Just keeps it out. So we're going to continue with these ridge caps, and we're going to work it down this way here, and then we'll kind of do the same thing as we did on the other side, and we'll work our way up the other hip ridges, and we'll kind of blend everything together and see how that works when we come up with the next video.